Hey, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good. How you doing?
Hey, I'm looking for an Axiom Crave. Do you have
Uh,
any by chance in Fission?
yeah, I think we have some. Oh, here we go. Yeah, there we go. Fission Crave.
Oh, this is sweet. I love the swirls. Oh, yeah, 166. Sorry, can't do it.
What weight were you looking for?
We're looking for 167.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry, it's just too flippy. Anyway,
okay.
see ya.
All right. Have a good day. I can't even begin to tell you how many times I've had this exact same conversation with a customer. Hey everyone, it's Greg from Six Sided Discs, and this is Flight Numbers Don't Matter. If you're enjoying our Flight Numbers Don't Matter series, consider supporting us by picking up one of these sweet Flight Numbers Don't Matter custom stamped discs from Millennium, available now at sixsideddiscs.com. The question we have is, how much does weight really matter? To find out, we're throwing a bunch of discs at higher and lower weights to see how much it affects stability, speed, distance, and more. One of the best things a beginner can do is throw lighter discs. I've heard this advice given to newer players all the time. In fact, it's advice that I give myself. But have you ever tried to shop for lightweight discs? It is a struggle. Manufacturers make a huge percentage of their discs at max weight, which is typically 175 gram for putters and drivers and 180 grams for mid-ranges. They make just a few of those discs in lighter weights, making it much harder to find lightweight discs. To further complicate matters, some manufacturers don't let dealers choose the weight of the discs they receive, and they almost always send 100% max weight discs. However, lightweight plastic isn't a new thing. Innova has been making Blizzard Champion plastic their lightest plastic since 2012, which weighs in as low as 130 grams. Around the same time, Latitude 64 had the Diamond approved from their Easy to Throw line, which typically weighs in around 160 grams. In recent years, a few companies have been trying to make a wider variety of weights to make the sport more accessible to more people. Prodigy's Air range weighs in between 148 and 162 grams, while Discraft is producing Z-Lite plastic again, which runs between 140 grams and 160 grams. MVP has been hard at work perfecting their fission plastic, which can get all the way down to 145 grams, and even Lone Star offers Lima plastic, weighing in between 155 and 160 grams. Clearly, lightweight discs are becoming more readily available. But what exactly do you get by throwing a lightweight disc? Well, we know that lighter discs will be more easily impacted by the wind because they have less mass. But with all other things being equal, will they fly faster? Will they fly further? And how will that affect stability? Let's find out. To put this to the test, we have 9 pairs of discs. Each pair is in the same plastic. The only difference is the weight. Let's meet the discs. We have 2 putters today, the Discraft Special Blend Fierce at 174 and 160, and the Axiom Fission Proxy at 173 and 161. Next are mid-ranges with the Dynamic Discs Lucid Truth at 177 and Lucid Air Truth at 158 grams. The Innova DX Manta at 171 and 148 grams. And the greatest difference we'll see today, the 179 gram Prodigy M Model US and the 141 gram M Model US, a 38 gram difference. Finally, we have our 4 drivers. The Axiom Neutron Crave at 171 and 157 grams. The DGA Pro Line Sail at 174 and 150 grams. The Discraft Z Heat at 171 and Z Light Heat at 153 grams. And lastly, the MVP Wave at 171 grams and 149 grams in fission plastic. Let's also meet our throwers. We have 2 beginner casual level players throwing today with my wife Emily and my friend Nick. As I mentioned in a previous video about the Discraft Heat, Emily throws maybe every month or so, usually when I need a casual player throwing for a video. Nick, on the other hand, hadn't played in about 5 years until I asked him to be my partner for a local doubles tournament we were hosting. We'll also have Caleb, who you know from our previous videos, throwing for us today, and he'll be filling that role of a more experienced, consistent player. Rather than reviewing every single pairing's flights, we're going to spend a little more time talking about the data that we gathered and what we think we can learn from it. and we gathered as much data as we could. While we measured each throw with a Bushnell Velocity speed gun, kindly lent to us by one of our patrons, John. Thank you very much, John. And we measured the distance of each throw with an MVP Parsec rangefinder. Let's begin with our casual throwers and start going over the data. Emily and Nick may have had pretty consistent speeds across their throws. However, their release angles were much less consistent, which is not surprising for a couple of casual players. What this means, though, is that distance may not be the most useful metric from their throws. There are, though, some good examples that we can take something from. Here, Emily's throwing our pair of Prodigy M Model US, which have the largest weight difference we're testing today at 38 grams. They both come out nose up and on anhyzer, but the lighter disc comes out 5 miles an hour faster, and look how quickly the heavier yellow one starts to fade out compared to the 141 gram red one, which holds that anhyzer much longer and has a gentler fade. There is a clear difference in stability thanks to the speed gained by the lighter disc. One trend we're starting to see with the data from Emily and Nick is that speed is king. For Emily, the data shows that for 3 different pairs, the faster of the 2 discs went further. 3 flew at similar speeds and similar distances, while only 1 slower disc, the Fierce, went further, because the release angle on the lighter disc was a bit off. Nick's data, however, shows a much clearer pattern. Regardless of weight, the faster disc flew further every single time. We can also see that for just over half of the pairs, the lighter disc was the faster disc. Another thing we noticed is as we moved from our less experienced to more experienced throwers, the data became much more consistent, and therefore I think we can draw some more concrete conclusions. On all but 1 throw for Caleb, the lighter disc flew faster by an average of 3.27 miles per hour compared to the heavier discs. But did the faster speed equal more distance? Well, for us to talk about and understand distance, we also need to talk about stability. We expected lighter discs to travel faster, and so far the data supports that assumption. We also expected them to potentially go further because a faster disc is a further flying disc, right? But it turns out whether they go further largely depends on how the weight affects the stability, and that was not consistent across all the discs we tested. Let's begin with the Discraft Heat as an example. Caleb throws both of these on a slight hyzer, and the heavier Heat, despite leaving his hand a little slower, carries much further because the lighter Heat is so much more understable, it turns over too quickly to get any distance. We found the same issue occurring with the DGA Proline sail. Even though it was thrown slower, the 174 gram sail has enough stability to fade back, stretching all the way out to 405 feet, while the lighter sail turns over and doesn't have enough stability to come back, burning over at 294 feet. However, if you get a disc that can handle the stability even though it's in a lighter weight, you can achieve greater distance. The best example we have of that is our Axiom Crave. Caleb puts a good move on the heavier 171 gram Crave at 54 miles an hour, and it gets out to around 352 feet. While the lighter 157 gram Crave comes out 3 miles an hour faster and pushes on for another 37 feet, all the way to 389. Let's see if we can answer some of our earlier questions with the data we collected. First, do lighter discs fly faster? We think the answer is yes. It seems like on average, when trying to throw them at the same speed, lighter discs can leave your hand flying faster. So does flying faster mean flying further? Typically, yes. Overall, the faster discs in our testing seem to fly further regardless of weight. However, there does seem to be a tipping point where a lighter disc will often be too understable to handle the speed, and therefore, you lose a considerable amount of distance. So should new players throw lighter discs? Maybe, maybe not. In our testing, it seemed inconsequential to overall distance for a new player to have a light or heavy disc. Instead, mastering a consistent release angle and speed seemed much more important than the weight of the disc. So one question remains from us then. Are lighter discs good for forehands? No. All I can say is that I do not recommend lighter discs for forehands because on almost every single throw, these lightweight discs flipped over immediately out of the hand. It seems lighter discs lack that torque resistance required for a good forehand disc. Do you throw lightweight discs? Why or why not? Comment below your thoughts on lightweight plastic. Also comment below how we can test flight numbers more in the future. For Six-Sided Discs, I'm Greg. We'll see you in the next one. If you like this content and want to see more, please consider liking the video, subscribing to our channel, or supporting us on Patreon. Your support makes this content possible. To find out, we're throwing a bunch of discs at higher and lower weight. Loader? I've heard this advice given on... okay. In recent years, a few other companies have stepped up. Another thing we noticed is that we... So, do you throw white light?
Oh,
Yeah, sorry. It's just too flippy.
okay.
Anyway, see ya.
All right. Have a good day. Sadness.
Good job.
119 gram dyno disc. Oops.
Do you consent to be on YouTube?
Yes. It's on camera.